Hey, all, Joseph here. You may know me from posting my games on the ladder. I also have a background in human-computer interaction, specifically product design or UX design. And I want to talk a little bit about. I want to do a little series, and this is all done in good faith, good fun. I'm not doing this to like trash on the development team. I understand they work within their own constraints. You can't ever know what happens behind the scenes when it comes to launching a product. But I'm doing this just to take an opportunity to like educate, because I think it's important to know what the game gets wrong, and hopefully use this not as a way to say fix this specific thing, but as a general broad design guideline. So for the context, I don't have a background in video game design. I mostly work on like business to business SaaS type of products, but there's a lot of overlap in what we do, and the concepts nearly will be the same. I just don't work in this space specifically. So today, PTCGL released a new wallpaper celebrating the wallpaper background celebrating Worlds 2026, and this is one of the artifacts from the Worlds branding. Aesthetically, you can take it or leave whether you like it or not. I personally like it. I think it looks cool, looks nice. The thing that's the problem with this is twofold. The first one is there's a lot of visual tension occurring vertically right here. And that's because the colors here are like the warm and cold colors are like the opposite sides of the color wheel. And so naturally, they're complementary colors. So naturally, it's just going to be like a high amount of contrast, and you'll see your eye naturally veer towards the middle here. You see this a lot in logos. So I think the one I was thinking of is like FedEx. FedEx's logo is blue and orange, and you'll notice like just by looking as your eyes naturally go to the middle right here. And so the problem with it going to the middle vertically here on the screen is that the game is really played horizontally, right? This is your opponent's side, this is your side right here. And so you have to like your spatial thing is on this side and your opponent's spatial thing is on this side. And so this provides a lot of distraction, I think. There's a concept called natural mapping, and it's derived from Don Norman's Design Everyday Things, one of the first books you learn when you want to do UX design. And he talks a little bit about this concept of natural mapping. So basically, natural mapping, I'm just going to read it from the wiki, comes from proper natural arrangements for the relations between controls and their movements to the outcome from such action to the world. So basically, what this really means is this second sentence, which the real function of natural mapping is to reduce the need for any information from a user's memory to perform a task. So a good example of this is seen in an oven. I think the bad example you brought, and this is a typical design in ovens, is not knowing which of these knobs to associate to which of these burners, right? Because this left knob in particular can affect, if you're mapping it physically, it could be one of these two burners. A better mapping of an oven is probably more akin to this, a very non-popular version, but because you see four of these, you see four of these, the top left here will map back to the top left one right here. So what's important to know about this concept is when people play Pokemon, you play Pokemon horizontally, and the game just does a general good way of like translating what happens physically in the game to the virtual one. And so what you need to do is like basically gotta like just flip it horizontally. This is a really crappy one I did. In Photoshop very quickly because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this video, but I hope, and this should be actually raised up a little bit. Anyway, yeah, this should be equal distribution. But like if you just literally flip it, the tension is going to be gone. And even better, it maps back to how people usually play. So, in physical card game, you'll have a map and your opponent being the opposite side of you. With you have a map, the way that this contrast like maps back to that same experience, if you being on one side, your opponent being on the other side. So if you're wondering why they probably did this, it's because it's an artifact literally from the website that I think they just dropped in there. And I don't know if it was the insistence of the designer, whoever made this, or maybe they didn't think that broadly enough to flip it horizontally. But this is literally the artifact dumped into the game. So that's the design note 1. I hope this goes to the team and just provides some education on why this doesn't work at a technical level.